Espresso.
Killer special. Field twitch.
I'm rooting. Come.
Good job.
Nice.
Alright, good. We can shove mid here. Or we can go Baron.
Go Baron.
Welcome back to the North American LCS and our second game of the day, Complexity versus LMQ. Kobe, these are two teams that couldn't have had a more different start in the LCS, with LMQ sitting in first, and Complexity in a four-way tie for last.
Yeah, and even though they haven't actually faced each other in the LCS, these teams already have a long history, with LMQ defeating Complexity 2-0 in the first Spring Challenger Series. But yesterday, Complexity got picked off by a more coordinated Dignitas, and once they fell behind, we saw them playing with more desperation as players tried to get back into the game with big plays of their own, which did fail and then drop them further behind.
Hard experience to be in. You just tunnel right in. Meanwhile, LMQ looked amazing in their first two games, taking down a top-tier team that was CLG.
So they had a rough early game where they gave up first blood, but they recovered with their superior movements across the map, putting a lot of pressure on different objectives. And then they jumped on every single one of CLG's mistakes and capitalized. And at some times, they could have gone either way. There were several fights where CLG could have won and come back, but ultimately LMQ beat CLG in some of these high-pressure situations, and especially Xiao. He looks so strong on Yasuo, 11-2-6, to the delight of every fantasy player who actually picked him up.
So true indeed. The plays to be made in the Baron Pit and even more today. Let's check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, we've got Complexity. In the top lane is West Rice. Broken Shard in the jungle, probably in mid lane. Robert X Lee at AD carry and Bubba Dub as support.
They couldn't figure out how to show the team because they're all doing the hands-in cheer. But on the red side,
the camaraderie.
Red side, we've got LMQ. Up top, they have Ackerman. In the jungle, No Name. Mid, Xiao. AD carry Vasily, and supporting is Moore. There's everybody back in their box.
Absolutely. So looking at the AD carries in this one, both of them fared well yesterday. Obviously, we said Complexity came out with a loss, but you can still do well during your loss. And Robert actually fared quite well.
That's what you're looking for with a fantasy team. Someone who does well even in the losses.
So that matchup in the bottom lane, if they do, when's the last time we saw a 2v2 though, unless it was 15 minutes in when turrets were already falling?
Yeah, the bottom lane matchup, actually, Vasily looked really scary because he was able to play aggressively and extend pretty far up, and he didn't die in the first game on Lucian. So when he's able to have that kind of success and not have to pay for it, really, really good things happen for LMQ.
And LMQ is somewhat tested. We know their champion pools. You think of Xiao, and you think of the support utility champions, and then yesterday he brings out something completely different.
Hey, man, I was calling for it. I really wanted to see it, and now everybody knows why.
Everybody knows why, indeed.
That was some good stuff.
And you can't forget Ackerman's plays as well on Shyvana throughout the day were quite well. Everybody on LMQ holding their own, so this is definitely going to have to be, from the bat, a game of strong lanes for Complexity. They can't let go from the beginning.
Ackerman impressed me in a different way because he wasn't one to take over the game, but he was put in this situation where he had to deal with a Jax who had gotten a pretty strong early game, which Jax doesn't usually do, as Shyvana, and he kept on playing with no fear. Every time he would get engaged on by Seraph with the Jax, he would ult as Shyvana, he would stand toe-to-toe with him and just dare Seraph to fight him. And eventually, he just beat him down, and got him to back off. And he got a level lead even by being able to move and pick up more creep waves across the map. So it was a good job of LMQ positioning their solo laner so that he could get a level advantage and he could get right back in that game and he could hold on and keep that Jax from getting out of control.
We'll be sure to keep an eye on Ackerman as well. Can't forget a World Championship top laner.
Oh, yeah.
Cannot forget.
Godlike, as he was previously known.
So we see the Ziggs getting a ban out here in Italy as well. Mids finding quite a bit of love coming out from Complexity and LMQ as Lee Sin also gets taken out for Broken Shard. He was in and out trying to create a lot of plays on that yesterday. Some he died for, but Broken Shard will always try to make a play.
He is one of those guys that can have amazing games where he just goes off and he does steal the dragon and he gets out. But, sometimes it doesn't work out.
Sometimes it doesn't.
You want to protect yourself against
Right.
those peaks, though. So they're worried about that just to make sure they do ban out the Lee Sin. However, he is a big fan of Kha'Zix. Now, with the recent changes to the Kha'Zix in 4.7, though, he's a little bit more clunky to use. The biggest thing, I think, was the change to the 2 seconds in between stealth timers. 1 second didn't really hurt your playstyle that much, but it does force you to change your style around in the mid-game teamfights, having to work around that 2 second window.
Now it feels like forever.
It does feel like forever, and that can cost you your life nowadays because people have really grown accustomed to relying on that damage reduction.
Westrice waiting
Man, they're
for the
just
team.
Yeah, down to the wire
Bit of
here.
Input there. Cassidy makes it through the first time. We didn't even notice on the picks and bans, or bans, I should say. And he goes to Prolly in the mid lane. Going to be an awesome watch on this one.
Very, very strong against mages, even with the nerfs here. Kassadin, very, very strong going into any mage late game, actually. That's why he's been banned out so often across all different regions. He still has that power.
Yep.
After the rework. He's amazing at chasing people down as well, 4 kills. Now, that being said, his shield doesn't protect him at all against attack damage. So you can run different damage types into him and have success. Or you can do something like Soraka. We just saw Soraka have great teamfight success. And LMQ are definitely still very strong team fighters.
Yep.
And definitely do like those types of team comps.
Ackerman getting 2 games in a row on Shyvana. He's already taking that for himself. LMQ feels like they're not going to really need anything COL would feel they need to pick. So they're all right picking support and top. We see Robert actually taking Lucian to come out. Kind of fits his play style of aggression.
So Lucian and Twitch, top 2 AD carries. We'll probably see the Twitch picked up as well for Vasily. But shows something that Robert actually favors Lucian over the Twitch. Maybe they do have a plan with dealing with this Twitch because they already have 2 assassins and they feel like that's enough for them. If Vasily picks up Twitch, they feel like they can get back to that back line and destroy him even if Thresh is there to try and protect. Could be working around that. Meanwhile, he did also pick up that Kha'Zix I was talking about for a long time with Broken Shard. It was definitely one of his favorites, as it was every jungler's favorites back before he was changed. We'll see how he can work around the new stealth timer, and the isolation damage is much harder to come by nowadays as well.
Still figuring out the jungle they want for No Name. Looks like he might be locking in that Elise as it makes it through as well. Another Twitch to Lucian game. Like I said, I really would love to see these AD carries match up in it. Doublelift has sung the praises of Vasily and playing against him and watching him play. That there are even a few tips and tricks that he's learned himself. So very high caliber player in the AD carry sense, a marksman if you will. Last pick is left for mid on LMQ. Xiao able to round out the composition. His complexity now waits to lock in the final 2. Like you said, a bit of assassin here. So what are they going to do to round out the composition with some beef?
Yeah, they got to be looking at, they have to be expecting that Twitch so they know, okay, we're probably going to be running into this AoE, very strong 5v5 composition from LMQ. What are we going to deal with that? Are we going to split push, just go heavy assassination, take him out at the beginning? Even if you do that, it's pretty hard sometimes, depending on what kind of peel LMQ can come up with. So we'll have to see here, complexity. Will they pick a split pushing top laner? Because Westrice, he can. Ooh, he's got a very large pool. Let's say he uses some different champions that a lot of other top laners do not use. Now the question is this Malphite going to be a Magic Pen Malphite for blowing up Twitch with just his ulti combo, or is it going to be a Trinity Force Malphite,
remember
or is it going to be full tank here?
Wicked played that at the playoffs way back when. Played it to great effect as well, kind of mixing up the damage and tricking out your opponent.
I do like the idea, though, because, as I said, with already Kassadin and Kha'Zix, they have assassination potential. They got to expect a Twitch pick after they pick Lucian. So saving that Malphite until the end after Twitch is already locked in, Malphite, that is the guy you want if you're looking to just blow somebody up. So they have a great combo. 3-man dive there. Just explode Vasily at the beginning of the game. But LMQ going the exact same strategy we just saw TSM employ.
Mention Soraka?
I did mention Soraka. They are able to save that till the last pick.
2 seconds, locked in.
This is pretty much going to be the exact same story, except Complexity have a few more tools as far as diving is concerned. We'll see if Westrise can actually be the difference in this matchup.
Be our first Malphite here in the summer split that we'll be seeing. Looks like he still wants to run teleport on that. A few changes recently to Malphite, kind of make him fun in lane. A little bit less cost on that brutal strike, so you can get your lane pushed up and control it. We'll see how Westrise plays it. Like you said, a big champion pool, so it's kind of unknown commodity is what kind of playstyle he's going to go with coming out on that.
Yeah. Last time he was up against Ackerman, and Ackerman was favoring the Mundo. Westrise came out with the Garen counter that surprised everybody. It didn't actually work, but
Still surprised.
Sounded pretty cool.
Sometimes it'll work. You just got to get the right game. The game's about to go live, so we're going to take a look at this one. The voting from LOLesports.com says that 88% of you think LMQ will come out on top. I think that's our highest now. 2% more than the last vote. It's going to be big. Remember to share your in-game predictions by tweeting at LOLesports. Use the hashtag COLWin or LMQWin as we go throughout the game to root for your team. Going to see if big plays can be coming in here. Bubba Dub on the end. I just got to give a thumbs up to that mustache. Awesome. That is an awesome mustache. Always love to see it. Westrise very patiently waiting to get into this game. He looks ready and raring to go. Bit of communication between Broken Shard and the best
He's shaking a lot.
Yep.
Just trying to keep warm, though.
That's what
He's
Copper
fine.
used to do.
He
Copper
is
would always do
a,
like hand-leg dance.
Yeah, it's not always because they're extremely nervous here. Westrise is one of the most seasoned League of Legends players on the planet.
First finals,
he's
man.
right up there with Dyrus. He's
All
played
the
the
way
game
back.
for just as long. He's been in the competitive scene for as long as there's been a competitive scene for League of Legends.
And it's great to see that these players filter back in as well. He never really went down. He always stayed at the top level. He was on teams, always trying to make it, getting very close, and it was just kind of like that thread every time. But now that they're back in, the motivation is there. The COL name is back into the LCS League, and they're looking to make an impact here. Crowley getting his Kassadin banned out from a Ziggs. He gets that because they thought the Ziggs was that much terror that he now gets this. And we have to remember the first time he made his debut for Complexity in the LCS way back when, he brought out Annie because he said he thought it would be fun.
Kassadin should be fun. He's a pretty fun champion.
Absolutely.
However, early laning phase, not so fun. Soraka is a great champion at shoving. Kassadin, one of his biggest weaknesses is being shoved in. Always has been, still is. It's a little bit less so because he gets so much more damage out of his W than he used to, but it still is a decent problem for him.
There's some movement.
Now, with that W, he can CS much easier under turrets now than he used to be able to. We'll see how Prolly actually fares. It's going to depend a lot on jungle pressure. If junglers have to show early in this game, then Xiao Xiao will have an easier time shoving up and being extremely aggressive versus Prolly. But if the junglers do get time to farm jungle and get back in the fog of war, pose that threat to the mid lane, then it should even it up and relieve a lot of pressure from Prolly. That makes me expect LMQ might want to swap around some things.
Slowly waiting. Not too many forward wards. Everybody's placing them on their own side this time. A little bit less than what we usually see. And it looks like LMQ and Complexity are going to stay on their own sides. First of the first. I can't even say many because I figure every team is going to be invading each other as we have seen lately. So LMQ getting a fresh start as well as Complexity. The lanes will not be swapped. I like it.
All right, so regular jungle path here as well for both junglers. Xiao will have to be fairly cautious in this mid lane, so he won't get to bully Prolly as much as he would want to. See that magic shield comes out, Xiao goes for the banana attack instead of the star call. Bananas will get right through for shield.
There it is, getting a little bit on, making sure he doesn't grab the aggro. This will be a fun lane to watch, that shield coming back up every so often, but you can see how much Prolly is missing out on mana. He's going to get that damage down, but the level 2 comes from fast star call, and he's going to be right up to his turret. Not fun times for Kassadin. Great play by Xiao on the aggression.
All right. Meanwhile, top lane, we've got a Malphite starting Crystalline Flask for Westrise, knowing that he's going to try and sustain in that lane versus Shyvana. It's going okay so far. He will have the experience advantage there for Ackerman because he's got the wave slightly in his favor. Westrice, though, doesn't want to push up because he can't really pressure Ackerman at this point in the game, and he doesn't want to have to worry too much about Elise.
That's actually a great counter to think of. Burnout goes on, you steal it with the movement shard, you get a little bit more, and you're out of there. Slows down Shyvana on the engage. Let's see if he plays that to get himself out of sticky situations. No Name is going to be a good gank in that lane if they can get to it. Break that shield to Westrice. Probably still taking a good bit of damage in mid. Crystalline Flask for him as he knows it's inevitable that he will be taking star calls. Broken Shard, show him some presence.
There it is.
Nice job, Xiao Zhao.
Yeah.
Get that 5 CS or so back that he's down on Probably's side.
That's why he has to play defensively here, and he does pay off for him. Doesn't go down. Westrice, by the way, for this Malphite, he is running Hybrid Penetration. Helps him out in the laning phase, because he does have significant sources of
so
both
much minion damage.
But that's not going to help.
Wow.
No Ignite, my friend. No Ignite. He does get Flash traded, though, so not a bad Flash from Ackerman, because he's still got Westrice's Flash out. And he forces Westrice to back and use his teleport.
That was crazy. Thought he was going to die to the minions in the first place. No Name now taking the same entrance that we had coming in for Broken Shard. Very far up. Probably does have the flash. He has Ignite, though. On the other side, it's not a heal. He has to use that flash. They do get in range. The red buff is on, but they're not able to get through enough of the shield to get below 200 HP. And Broken Shard's right in the back pocket.
Yeah, Xiao Zhao actually used his flash in that as well. So even though Probably was the recipient of the gank, after he returns, you know, yeah, he misses out on a minion wave, but Summoner spells equalized there. And Xiao Zhao didn't really have kill potential. Flashing in Soraka like that, not close enough to get a lot of damage done.
Oh, very nice pullback by Robert X. Lee. A very nice sidestep is winning them this lane. The Ignite's ticking. One more. First blood. Bubba Dub.
And he pays for hooking the minion there. Bubba Dub comes up pretty big. Zyra does very well against Thresh, can harass him because she can work around minion waves and hide behind them. Whereas Thresh, you know, Zyra can just pop plants up right under your feet, and she puts out a lot of damage. Zyra's this most offensive of the supports. Really has to worry about her own positioning, though, because she is also very squishy.
Oh, Broken Shard going through the brush. He's going to go right in. Focusing that, the heal goes out. No Name's going to get himself a kill quickly.
They don't even get
Vasily. And they go for a little too much. They were already winning the lane, but they kind of throw it back.
He recalls on his dead body, too. Vasily with the okie doke around the turret and goes to recall on Robert's corpse just to add insult to injury.
Backing out. Robert actually playing very aggressive there, we saw on the play. 300 HP, and they still made a move for the first blood. So Complexity knows they have to get ahead early.
That was a deep dive to go for. Even after Broken Shard sees
took a little too much time
there. Feel like the call was already made, and they didn't really react to the new information that they got.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, barely. He misses the missiles, too.
Those point of origin shots, you never know where to fire. You're the wrong way. You're out of luck.
So close.
1-1.
Doing his best here. Gets 2 more.
He's keeping it up. Farming with Malphite isn't the easiest thing, especially with Brutal Strikes on when you're trying to get it away from the turret.
The thing is, if he keeps having to use his teleport for laning phase, then he won't have it to join the fight. They want him to be able to join a team fight and use his ulti to take Vasily out. If he gets pressured so hard by Ackerman that he has to continually use it to get back to lane, then he's just going to be stranded up there. At least he's keeping on with CS, though. He's doing a good job of CSing under his turret, making use of the flask. Got to worry about getting dove, though, consistently here. No Name in this top side of the jungle, warding up this blue side.
Oh, deja vu from the bottom lane now. Broken Shard might be able to find No Name now on the top side Tri-Brush, but he stays back, it seems. Xiao giving hell to Probably in the mid lane here. Down to 400 HP, almost depleted on mana. A pie to the face of Bubba Dub as Robert X. Lee moves to the side. It looks like Moore is going to be able to get a little bit of damage on. Nice dash over with the Lantern allows for another few shots coming out from Vasily. Great takeout. Broken Shard able to get that smite down and steal the blue.
Good exchange.
Steal it.
Really interesting exchanges down in that bottom lane.
Right.
I'm definitely impressed by Complexity's bottom lane. Robert X. Lee always has been a very strong Challenger League AD carry. Now that he's finally gotten into the LCS, he keeps on talking about how he wants to prove himself against these elite LCS AD carries, and he got the taste He wants to show how good he is.
Had the taste with EG. Had a few gameplays as they
Doing a
needed
great
the
job
subs.
so far. You know, he was
really
able
brought it
to
up.
wait until he had enough money for his BF sword to time his back. So that he's going to come back with some very powerful trades this time around. Vasily and Moore will have to be a little bit more careful, because Robert can definitely punish them, and any all-ins will probably go his way. That's why they're backing off to purchase now.
A lot of plays like that are going to make, maybe not, but could cause Bubadov to position a lot differently. If Moore keeps hitting hooks, they're not going to want to get as close as they are for these engages. Broken Shard picking up his red. They're going to continue.
Yeah, both of the supports that you're talking about, by the way, have Ignite. They're looking for kills, so
Yeah.
everybody in that bottom lane very aggressive.
Seen quite a bit of exhaust lately actually coming out for these assassins.
Meanwhile, the ward coverage has been kept up very nicely by Complexity in this bottom side. Not only do they have the river, but also side bush coverage. It's very important in this matchup. A lot of skill shots between both supports. If you can throw out hooks from one of the bushes, it's much easier to land them because you don't have to give away your target with a windup. And also, those wards double as possible teleport options for Westrice to come down. Because a level 6 Malphite coming in behind you as a Twitch and a Thresh would be devastating. Westrice, by the way, is skilling the champion for team fights with maxing his E, not putting a lot of points into
slam.
Q. He wants that combo. It's all about the ulti E combo to just burst down Twitch. Even if he doesn't kill him, going to significantly slow his attack speed.
Right.
Or getting into trouble trying to ward.
Oh, Broken Shard taking a bit too much front-end damage there as Complexity not really focusing this one right, and LMQ just comes in with more power on the front end. Looks like they are able to still get a grasping root down. Broken Shard hovering around to see if they can get this with Prolly on the top side, but they decide to stay at bay, and it looks like LMQ may see if they can squeeze a dragon out of this.
Great backup from Moore and Vasily coming in. The Twitch damage already hitting its mark there. Level 6, using the red tat pretty much as soon as he gets it. And it earns them not only a kill, control of the dragon.
LMQ is kind of just letting Complexity fall into these. There's a big hit up on Moore there to start, but LMQ knew that with Dragon coming up and Complexity on the move, that was nicely played. They're able to take it out. Pink Ward's down in the bottom lane as well to make sure they have coverage.
So Westrice got his teleport interrupted. Sad face.
He was watching he was like, he's ready.
He can do the same thing to Ackerman, though. He can trade his ult for a teleport as well.
It's a good heal. Probably not being able to do much. He gets in the face of Xiao Wei Zhao. That ignite is there, but he was not in kill range. Westrice low on mana, just sitting to farm at the turret as Ackerman. 86 to 74 there. We've seen Ackerman beat down 2 kills against a Jackson comeback.
Everybody's crying for every CS that Westrice doesn't get under his turret, too.
It's just said
It's painful to
not the
watch
easiest
that.
thing.
Because you want to root for the Malphite. You just feel bad for the Malphite. Oh, Broken Shard trying his best too. Junglers.
Got it.
Junglers CSing under turrets is always fun to watch.
Slow but sure.
Slows his attack speed. Ah, that's going to help his turret a little bit. But man, he's really wearing on this one. Ackerman's getting a lot of work done. Pretty soon, that global gold as well as extra room to work with for LMQ will come into play. They already have the superior team fight with the Soraka plus Twitch combo, but they're also going to have the global gold and the second dragon timer. They have the exact timer for second dragon.
Very close damage on that bottom turret. It would actually help Complexity if they could get that turret down, because then there would be really no escape but the mid lane for LMQ on a dragon fight. A lot of non-roaming going on. You'd think Prolly would be out and about trying to kill right now, but good ward coverage from LMQ on both sides of mid, and like we said, Pink Ward's in the bottom lane is really preventing that. The 1-2 kind of steps back before he gets all the damage out that he wanted. Oh, just walked out of range. Doesn't get the full lantern grab.
Vasily takes a lot, though.
Going back, Broken Shard's in a bad spot. Throws on the ultimate. Bubadov's now in the front line. Broken Shard now being forced to kite out of the fight as Robert actually, the fadeaway calling, isn't able to pick anybody up. Prolly comes in. May have enough to zero out Vasily. He hides himself. He will live from the ignite tick. Ackerman going in hard in the fight as he gets the teleport in. The teleport is down for Westrice, and he's forced to push the top lane.
That might just be it. That just might be too much to come back from here. That was a giant lead for LMQ. Let's take a look at this. They get the, oh no! More flashes before No Name takes the lantern.
Right.
There. So No Name has to just walk in. A little bit of miscommunication there, not quite on the same page. But hey, we had Ackerman, who was not next to Westrice. There was no hope for Westrice to even interrupt it because Ackerman was not in the vicinity. So they get their top laner down here, and Prawley goes for the kill onto Vasily. Not only does he not get it though, kills on the exit path and also baits in Robert as well.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-man death and the turret going down. LMQ with a huge lead, and they have the team that can control the map because there's no way Complexity can contest them in a straight up 5v5. So at this point, Complexity have to get the pick. They can't fight even number battles anymore.
He's top lane already.
They need that vision.
Ackerman's everywhere. Taking out a turret in the top lane now. This is good
they're going
stuff
for it.
coming from LMQ. Something they have to force in. He says, wait, there's another one here. Oh, the lantern! He gets him out safely. Wow.
Talk about Ackerman being everywhere. Moore gets up to the top lane too in time to save him. Oh, heartbreaking for Complexity because really their wild card coming into this was the Malphite ulti.
Yeah, that's true. They've been out teleported so far, haven't really been able to force on that. And one scary thing, Kobe, that teams have to recognize now, if they haven't seen it, is then an LMQ game has been carried by a different member each time. Now to the top lane, Vasily looks to get a little bit of love here onto Westrice. The ultimate for him on Unstoppable Force is down. He's gonna do what he can to farm up some minions before he eats the grave. Whoa, wait a minute. Gets a quick contaminate to take that one down. That was closer than he wanted it to be.
Standing right next to that Malphite there. Get his attack speed slow. But they have the minion wave there doing a lot of damage for Westrice as well. Not quite enough to take him down, but Robert's under some pressure down bottom.
Ackerman was kind of thinking about that. He's like, if it's just Broken Shard, I can fight this. But we see Prawley coming down. Can he rift into this fight? They're a little too close to the turret. The culling is hitting. Gets the wish heal. Oh, he's going to stay alive. Complexity coming up short on so many kills that should be happening. But LMQ, the safety everywhere.
Yeah. Not only are they great in the 5v5, but also Xiao can add his power across the map without even having to move. He can continue to pressure literally all 3 lanes here from LMQ. They have such a substantial gold lead that they can bully any member of Complexity that they want. Even Ackerman trying to fight 3 people almost got kills just with the ulti of Xiao adding in.
Complexity has this team that should be taking the fights. We saw, you know, the Malphite ulti, Bubba with the Stranglethorns. They should have been their dragons, but they haven't had a chance to go at any of these. They haven't had a chance to get Westrice into one of these fights. LMQ moving too quick, making things happen way too fast. 7-1, 16 minutes in with a 7,000 gold lead.
Ackerman is extremely strong right now too, with 3 kills for himself. It's not just Vasily.
Nope.
This split pushing Shyvana, definitely going to be hard to take down, as we've seen already. Xiao doesn't have to move either. This is the kind of game Xiao loves. Farm master. Just farm his mid lane all the way up to secondary turret.
176, he's above the mark.
Okay, teleport comes in and Broken Shard jumps out, so miscommunication again from Complexity.
Or did he?
Not quite on the same page there. Okay. Westrice wanted to go for the kill. Broken Shard did not.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out, he says. Bubba making his way in for the ward. They have some good pressure here, but they still won't have now Prawley for the fight. A little bit of AoE still lost. They go in hard, and Ackerman says, I'm going in even harder. A great lantern back. Westrice gets down finally to the fight. This is what we were talking about. Bubba can't follow up. He tries to get a good Stranglethorn down, and now, like you said, the protection comes in. Robert's already too far from the fight. He knew it was dangerous. LMQ takes position again for Dragon.
Nice ulti there from Westrice. Making his way up to the bottom lane. However,
coming in.
After that fight trading 1-for-1, because they sustained more damage and their AD carry is not only low on HP but also mana, they cannot contest this dragon. So, hey, they made it a 1-for-1 in the end. However, they also lost the dragon. And Vasily gets a solo kill onto the Kassadin. That should not happen.
Crazy how much LMQ as all the players themselves initiate these things.
Good
They
luck,
know
Robert.
what they can do.
Good
They
luck.
know what they can get themselves into, and they decide to throw a party for Robert in the bottom lane real quick.
Yep. This is basically.
They're playing inside.
Let's see how this happened here, because probably. Oh, so yeah, he wrist walks in. That's the only.
Oh,
Yep.
Blade of the Rune King
All right.
immediately. That didn't work.
That is not the silly being aggressive. That is probably being aggressive there. Wanted that CS a little too much. And now LMQ basically
Man,
can push wherever they want to. So it's really up to Complexity to use this time to think about what they're going to change.
Yeah.
Because their beginning for this LCS has not turned out very well for them. They knew, though, coming into this, that they were going to sustain some losses in the beginning.
yeah.
They said it in their video. There were inevitable losses that would come at the beginning, and they are hoping to learn from all the losses that they do sustain.
Right.
So as long as they're able to take away lessons from each of these games, then they're sort of going according to plan, and they can look more towards the end of the split to have an impact.
You know, with Cassidy being left up the first time, maybe they thought that was less of a threat. If Probably would take that, and they kind of bait him into that pick. Because right now, he's yet to finish on his Rod of Ages. Almost 100 CS behind in that lane. Xiao Xiao, I think he knew what he was doing in that lane.
And as I said,
They also gave him trouble
getting
for
shoved
no
in
name.
is always a
Right.
problem for Cassidy. And LMQ pretty easily showing their hand as well, saying, yeah, we're going to go with that Twitch AoE team. Complexity decided that they had something to show for it. They're like, yeah, we're gonna whip out double assassin Malphite combo, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, we didn't really even get to see that strategy played out because they got so far behind in gold early. They were never able to go for those fights. Now Westrice, he has his ulti, but they need to use that ulti on Twitch. Doesn't get it onto Twitch. Does get no name.
Look at Vasily position himself. He's trying to funnel right into that area. They're able to get a good kill. Westrice goes down. It's just a chase from Ackerman now. Level 13 to 10 and 9. He is toying with these players of Complexity right now as the rest of LMQ is looking for blood.
So Complexity going for a risky move because they're so far behind. They need to make plays like that to get back in it. But that one right there was not going to be the one to get him because invisible Twitch there, and if you use your Malphite ulti on somebody else, he's going to kill you.
Mini Fnatic brush try there. Weren't able to come out with a full Fnatic experience. Inhibitor turret in the mid lane about to get taken down. 20 minutes. LMQ is knocking on the front door of Complexity. They're going to back out before the Inhibitor, but that's easily on the list next.
Something we can point out, though, between this game and the last LMQ, even though they have a very similar team comp, I just want to point out how special that build was in the last game for Soraka, with Bjergsen going the heavy armor early and cooldown reduction early. Xiao, this is the standard build for the solo lane Soraka. So leans into the Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Really the other was just adaptation because of the opponents they were facing. Definitely a versatile champion that you can build in multiple ways. Even if you want to go more offensively than this build, you can go cooldown reduction boots. Also very good for her, increasing both her utility and her damage.
2 minutes on Dragon, something that's been controlled by LMQ, and something that LMQ has shown within their games here in the LCS is their movement has been spot on. It's 21 minutes in the game and they're knocking on the front door in almost every lane. They've done something with a purpose every time and really wasted nothing. Once again, they get a grab. They know it might be too dangerous, so they hold off.
They honestly don't even have to knock on that front door. They could just walk right in and take the inhibitor if they wanted with a 5-man shove. Their team fight is just that strong right now. But they are looking to control the Baron area. Practice the vision game. Have that split push Shyvana with teleport up. See if they can pull Complexity apart.
Yeah, 12,000 gold lead coming in at 22 minutes is nothing. That's going to be easy to stop. Just wasting the Banshee's Veil, but it's not enough. He might even be able to get the turret. Those twin bites coming out. It's going to help a little bit, and he has probably on their side, but this is allowing the mid lane, Kobe, They are going to be able to rush right through here. They've drawn 2, and it looks like they're going to be getting the inhibitor. 50 seconds on the Dragon. The calling, to Westrice, so they stop the ultimate.
And silence.
But look at how much they're spreading, so Westrice cannot get a good unstoppable force. Nobody is in a pile for LMQ, and they know who to focus now. Backing off, No Name, onto Prolly. Everybody gets the silence there. Ackerman onto him, trying to get the kill. Broken Shard forced to jump away, and Complexity kind of didn't even turn to fight there.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen if they come in sporadically like that. Also, by the way, the Xiao Xiao silences on Westrice right after the hook. They don't want to let him have a window. Once he was out of the stun from the hook and out of the silence, everyone's so spread out, and no damage from Complexity would have been able to follow up Vasily. Even though Vasily opened in range of a Malphite ulti, there's no damage there. Here's the damage.
Huzzah! Whoa, where'd Prolly come from?
He's like, okay,
like Robert X. Lee just hatched a Prolly, and it looks like they are going to be out of that one. The Venom, the poison, and he's dead. Oh.
That's the aggressive Vasily everyone knows and loves. Goes for the ambush onto a single target. LMQ maybe falling apart a little bit here.
Step.
Everybody getting a little greedy on LMQ.
This is the point I was just talking about. They were doing things that worked. Now they're wasting a little bit of time. Now they're losing ground here.
Across the map? No, only 2.
Moore's pretty tanky.
It's a small window though.
It's pretty big.
I mean, every kill when you are behind like that does mean a lot more.
Yeah.
Not only for any sprees that you could take down, which they got off Vasily, but also because bonus experience. But still, only 2 is not going to be enough to get them right back in this. Still, LMQ showing that they do get a little bit lazy when they get so far ahead like this.
Xiao 3 levels higher than Prolly right now. Level 15, the only one in the game. Ackerman's close at 14 along with Westrice, but these guys are able to have a field day right now. Prolly doing a good job at securing the blue. It's going to be necessary if he wants to stay alive in these fights and get any assassinations down of Vasily.
Double pink ward, pretty big pickup for Complexity there, being able to clear that out. However, they have mid lane down. Malphite not the best of minion wave clears, but it's going to be decent. He has substantial mana with the Glacial Shroud right there.
See what he can do. Dragon's going to be taken down. Not yet worth max gold, but I don't even think they need this gold. They're so far ahead in this game. Looks like they're only going to get that much more. Bottom lane is one that they need to push. They were able to draw Complexity with 2 members, which means they might be out of sorts. Ackerman, come on, there we go.
So they still want those team fights outside, even with this massive gold lead. As we said, they're still a little bit wary of just sieging up outside of a turret, because if Twitch shows himself, he'll be jumped on by Malphite, Kassadin, and Kha'Zix all at the same time, and it could be Complexity's window back into the game. So they don't want to give him that, playing it much safer, trying to control vision, draw them out into the map. The minion cheers. They've done their work.
That was a struggle. That was a good fight there on that turret. Oh, that was close. He didn't know what was on the other side of Prolly, though, so a hook may have been quite dangerous. Looking here for Bubba Dub. They get it in. Ackerman just coming out of nowhere already inside the jungle, and Bubba Dub's going to go down to the half dragon. Westrice tries to get himself in. They hook him again, but he does have the unstoppable force. Again, the follow-up isn't there, however, from the team because it is so all sorts right now. LMQ is able to split Complexity in every fight.
Vision control takes its toll there. Complexity drawn out of the base because they're trying to get some more down around Baron, and LMQ do take advantage. Exactly what they were looking for. After they get the Baron buff, then they can actually go siege up a turret. Looks like they don't even have to, though.
Broken Shard goes hard. The rest of the team may decide to go in here. Robert actually trying to get out. He's going to draw them right to Broken Shard. This may be a follow-up kill for him. The Rylas is going to get the slow on. 1 kill comes up. Do they have the range and the flash? Taken from Broken Shard. At least 1 HP on him. They lock it down. Great job coming out from Twitch's Tammin.
Yeah, congratulations to LMQ. What a decisive game here.
Coming out very strong. He's trying to pull him. He's like, follow me this way. This is the way you want to go outside the base. 27 minutes, 18-5. LMQ, a very definitive push into the base. Getting a little scary here in Chaotic. Looks like they'll be safe enough to take down West Rice. No unstoppable force there. And LMQ being the unstoppable force here. 3-0 to look now on the summer split. Probably with one last infuse. And a star call, and the Banana's going to do it. Robert X. Lee on the fountain. The Randuins, so they can't even get off with the home guards. And it looks like the Nexus turrets will be going down in 28 minutes.
And they get the hook onto Broken Shard.
A few more kills. Why not? They're going to be able to trade a few back for retribution kills. Robert X. Lee ties his shoes on the fountain, but he watches the Nexus go down for a 28-minute win here. LMQ over Complexity.
Another 10-plus kill game here. Vasily 10-1 and 5 on that rat. The only death was because he ambushed. And he ambushed 2 people, 1 versus 2.
Trying to get a little too hypey there. Again, a strong play. Does not look like they even went outside their own boundaries on that game. They're still playing well within their reach. They don't have to figure anything else out during the game. They've already got it planned. And it shows. These are definitively played and one game so far.
Looks like Complexity have a rough road ahead of them. Absolutely. Of the 2 new teams coming in, LMQ definitely have taken the LCS by storm. 3-0 now at the top of the leaderboards. To be fair, they haven't played the top teams from last split yet, the top rated teams. So we will see how they stack up against the likes of Cloud9, against the likes of TSM later.
And we do have to give Complexity credit the early part of this game. Bubba getting first blood, the aggression. And it's not the first time. Even in Complexity's loss yesterday, we said Robert X. Lee and Bubba did great in the bottom lane.
Lane phase, yeah.
The laning phase
they have
goes
a strong
well.
laning phase.
But as soon as we even saw them get that 1 kill, it seemed like they almost got a little too excited. We're ahead of LMQ. Let's get something more. And then they started falling under the turret. And what they had almost fell away immediately.
And jungler attention down there, too. No Name was there for a couple counter ganks and even just outright ganks, initiating them a couple times. So that can be played on. If people know that this bottom lane here for Complexity are confident and they are going to play aggressive sometimes, try and punish it.
Got to remember Ackerman as well. Really fearless in his gameplay. I think it's a great word for it. Coming out strong, and I mentioned right before they broke out into a huge fight that it's been once Xiao, it's been once Vasily, and Ackerman and Vasily both played super well this game. Everybody in LMQ did, but it's always been a different person to carry the game.
Yeah.
That's
it's easy to
scary
play
for
without
other teams.
fear when you're up against Malphite in lane phase, because not much
he's not going to kill you.
He's not going to do
teleport.
much to you.
You saw Ackerman flashing in at level 3 just to try and get the kill for him. Didn't get it, but still, the aggression always there from LMQ. Right now, we're going to throw it over to Freak and Jat at the analyst desk to walk us through LMQ's win.
Thank you very much, Riv. So another very commanding win for LMQ, 3-0 for them. They've really not looked back at any of these games.
Yeah, I mean, we saw all the way from the challenger scene. There wasn't really a team that it came into the LCS with higher expectations.
Yeah.
Even when Cloud9 qualified, people were like, all right, they're going to be pretty good. A lot of people from LMQ were putting them near the top of the standings. Many of the LCS teams, including like COG, were saying, oh yeah, 4th best. And that's where most of us put them as well, because we weren't really sure how they're going to perform. We're still not entirely sure how they're going to perform, because the game against COG was very close, and they've kind of beat the teams that they're supposed to beat, but they're still doing it in pretty impressive fashion.
Yeah, they're 3-0. They're going to end the day in first place. They've got a chance at a 4-0 Super Week. The big tests are how they do against the rest of the top 3, right? CLG with the new roster was a close test for them. They've still got TSM, Cloud9 ahead of them in the next couple of weeks or so. So that's going to be fun to watch. Now, LMQ, though, I think they come in. They're one of only 3 undisturbed rosters in the LCS right now. And they look really good as a group. What I really like is the fact that they are not shy to go for fights, and that they're very confident in knowing what they can get away with. The exception of like Vasily going into what was a 1v2, like anytime Ackerman dives in, he actually wins the fight. I've never seen him dive into the wrong battle. It's really impressive.
Especially when he was behind yesterday in their game against COG. He was doing the same thing. We were talking about Ackerman, how he wasn't necessarily terroring the challenger scene in the top lane.
No.
And he's not, it doesn't seem like he's a player that really cares too much about destroying the other person in lane. He'll get his farm down, and then he's all about timing and jumping into the right times. Every time he was using Dragon's Descent in that last game against Complexity, he was getting a kill.
Yeah, he plays his lane to get ahead because, of course, you're trying to win, but, like, you're right, aside from flashing in and, getting some damage to Westrise, trading summoner spells, all he's doing as Siobhan is pushing, dealing damage to the hurt when he can, but just being ready to make moves, right? When he canceled Westerice's TP on Malphite and then got to teleport to the bottom lane later himself, that was awesome. In fact, our first replay is a big bottom lane fight that Ackerman gets the TP, and if you can pull that up on your screen, this is the one that really puts LMQ far ahead here.
Yeah, the timing on this was what was right about it. Let's just get into the clip and roll it right away, because LMQ had already made that one mistake in the bottom lane, and they made a bit of another one there. More actually flashed before No Name could get in. And that almost was a trigger for Complexity to get really aggressive, but the teleport was also coming in from behind them, which basically screwed Complexity over. That was the timing of the teleport by Ackerman. And at this point, it's just Complexity baiting themselves. They overestimated the damage of a level 8 Kassadin. Kassadin really needs until the end of the game to start doing damage now after the current nerfs. And going in that early just gave Ackerman that triple kill, and he never looked back.
Yeah, he thought he could one-shot Vasily. Put the Ignite down, did everything. He actually probably did roam out of mid before Shao Wei shouted. Like, Straka was still mid at that time. Like, was like killing minions. I watched the minimap there. But yeah, even if Vasily died, he was out of the fight regardless. Like, even with him staying alive, he pieced away. It was Ackerman, like, at that point, 2v3ing with more, and it was double Doran's Blade, Bilgewater Cutlass, and then just like a Negatron Cloak to not die. And it's like, yeah, Ackerman just does that much damage.
It really seems like it. And my questions for LMQ are, is their aggressive tendencies going to come back to haunt them? Because they've made mistakes in all of these games. Moore made a bunch of mechanical mistakes in lane. If we're being fair, I don't know what I've done when he hooked into that minion and ended up giving up first blood.
Yeah.
And even Ackerman, he fell behind against the COG game, but they're coming together as a team. I want to see them against the likes of Cloud9. Once they get 4-0, and now the expectations are really on. Because at this point, if they're a team as good as LMQ, especially with Godlike, a guy who was on Royal Club, who finished second in the World Finals, they've already played a whole split together. They're actually more a stable roster than all the other teams in the league. Coming in and beating up on a team recently joining the LCS, they feel like they can do that. I want to see them against Cloud9.
Yeah, and so also I want to kind of touch on this story. We talked about it a bit yesterday. Is LMQ still in play style, a Chinese team and American team?
Right.
And the fact that they're diving in, and again, their players all came from China proper, like, okay, yes, they've got some of that play style there. And the fact that they're doing these confident dives for fights that they know are going to work is a very Chinese style. And when we saw, for example, OMG versus SKT at All-Star about 2 weeks ago, SKT had better ward control and got to capitalize on those dives. They got to say, well, we know something you don't. You think you're going 4v3. It's actually 4v5, and then turn it back around. And we saw that glimpses of that. Like Vasily, again, going for the 1v1 on Robert X. Lee, but surprise, Prolly's actually there and turns the fight around. Like, these are the things that you can prey on. And we've heard some of the other commentators talk about, like, if you're very aggressive, you become predictably aggressive, and you can play around on those things. So as this league matures, even against teams like Complexity, they're having a rough start. I think all these guys will learn and play against that playstyle a bit better.
I think so, and I think they're kind of all going to turn into closer to the same playstyles as well.
Yeah.
Also, the way the game is going right now, even though we didn't see the lane swaps in this game in particular, it's a little bit more carry-focused.
True.
As we've seen, the mid laners and the AD carries are really head and shoulders above other people as far as CS is concerned. And Vasily and Shao Wei are two of the best in position as far as LMQ is built. Ackerman as well, not necessarily needing to destroy lane, but knowing what to do in team fights. They're really well suited for the way the game is trending right now, which could mean a really great amount of early season success. Unless the game changes later on, then we'll have to see how they adapt.
Exactly. Chinese teams are all like really, really good at shoving their lanes out and just roaming arbitrarily or seemingly arbitrarily at times your opponents don't expect and getting kills out there. Speaking of moving around and making roams, we're going to see some of that, I think, with the 2v0 lanes that we'll see more rotations around the map. But we have a second replay we want to show for you guys. It's a team fight about 27 minutes in. LMQ go for this one. And this is, again, it's, okay, they're up 12K at this point, so they know they're going to win some fights, but just the fact that they're going to go in confidently and dive all the time and just get good fights out of it.
Yeah, and as far as Complexity is concerned, too, they have this never say die attitude, and they're honestly forcing a little bit. When they're down in the game, this is almost a signal of a larger problem where they're always trying to make plays regardless of the situation in the game. And let's just roll this clip to kind of see why. They're getting zoned out by 2 people, and it's a 2v3. When you know the other team has 5, you don't actually have a reason to look out this far in the Baron pit. This is a Baron you should give up under almost every circumstance. Because they didn't, LMQ chased through. They got the Poison Tick to finish off Broken Shard. There was a Rylai's Crystal Scepter on Soraka. There was nothing Complexity could have realistically done there. LMQ knew that they could put up a defensive line. They could easily take Baron with 3.
Yeah.
And they just executed. That was simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. And you think about just the game we saw earlier today, Curse versus TSM. TSM commanding lead early on, 8,000 goldish. Ward control set up Baron, and Curse is patient, look for hooks, eventually they find it, get back in with some fight. You can play a little bit of a slower game from behind, find that opening, and, look for the Malphite pick. Look for the arbitrary get us around on the bot lane when someone's farming alone, and, push that around, not dive into the front lines.
I agree. And Complexity has a rough first week as well.
True.
Right? The teams that they're playing against are very strong right now, and they admittedly came into this not saying they're going to be number 1 all the time. They know they're going to take some lumps at the start of the LCS, as honestly they will. A lot of these teams are coming in with much more experience than them.
Yeah.
LMQ, even though they were a challenger team during the same time as Complexity Black, are a more experienced team, I'd have to say, at least on big stages.
Yeah. So,
and Complexity Black, they're not Complexity Black anymore. I keep calling them that because that's what they were in the challenger scene. They just need to kind of let the game come to them and rely on their mechanical play because they're really good in lane.
yes, they are. They got slightly outmatched here, but generally speaking, especially that bottom lane. We talked about that. Robert Ixley and Bubba Dub, I think, is a place that they could get a lot of strength from. We'll see if it can go throughout the rest of the season. They've got 26 more games to go.
Plenty.
Plenty. It's enough to get stuff going on. We've got to take a quick break. When we come back, Dignitas will take to the Rift against Evil Geniuses. But first, every week we get to see all the fans who flock to the studios to share in the excitement of the LCS. We caught up with one teacher in Iowa who has been sharing his love with League of Legends with the students.
I am a science teacher at East High School in Des Moines, Iowa. I teach physics. When I was in high school, I had a group of friends and we started networking our computers. I have fond memories of LAN parties and getting together and insulting and laughing with friends as they kill you with rockets. I wanted to find something that got kids together like my LAN parties did. My video, I made it to be posted on the Des Moines Public Schools homepage. I didn't think I would get this much attention.
I love Mr. Lank. He was my teacher in freshman year. I didn't know he played League till like a couple years ago.
Whenever I visit after school, it's really fun to talk to him because we always talk about League.
He's a great teacher. He was amazing and he inspired me to actually get really into the science field.
Most teachers don't know what League of Legends is about. When they hear me make announcements on the intercom, a lot of them just roll their eyes and say, well, what is this video gaming club? That being said, they all support it. And they understand that building connections, especially with our group of students, we have a lot of students who don't graduate from high school in this part of Des Moines. I wanted it to embrace both a motivating factor for schoolwork and having fun with friends and meeting people you might not talk to. There's a classic thought that video games are bad for schoolwork, and I'm trying to change that narrative with this club. If you have someone on your team who's terrible, do not insult me. I have feelings. I get sad when I'm told I'm a noob and I died to wraiths. Okay. So go! Charge!
As the president, I am organizing these events. We actually started out with 8 people from the beginning at just the student's house, and then 13, 20, 25, and I'm pretty sure there's 50 as we speak. So, really excited.
I feel like the LAN parties here are a lot more fun and connective. People coming from different places.
We have students that did start off with Fs and that couldn't come to the very first couple LAN parties.
I told Mr. Link that I was really excited to go to LAN party, and he checked my grades, and they were kind of failing. This club motivated me to the point where I knew that I had to come in.
I had to raise my grades, so for the past month and a half, I've been having to stay in after school.
You can see the joy on their faces because they've been in my room for the last month working after school for this.
His job is to make sure I'm doing good, and for me to let him down after he's done so much for us is something I'd feel embarrassed to say.
I like to play, and I like to destroy my students with a Fiora ult or, kill them all with my Karthus. But where my actual heart lies, it's when they come in and they have an unstoppable smile on their face, and they're going to tell me, Mr. Lank, I have a passing grade in chemistry now, and I've got it.